Yeah. Good evening, everyone. This is Journal Club on the 16th of May, 2021. And after a long back and forth with very strange paper submissions, Caitlin has decided to present on 2 protocols to increase circulating progesterone concentration before timed artificial insemination in lactating dairy cows with or without elevated body temperature. Some of the other ones she sent me were about artificial insemination in pigs, artificial insemination in vitro in goats, and for some reason also in tree shrews. So I don't know why she's so
my
obsessed with
capstone
this.
paper was the artificial womb, and I did a lot of research on in vitro and artificial insemination for some reason. So I was like, I'll just go with that. So then when I typed into PubMed artificial insemination, these just came up. So we went with it.
So it's a very, as some of you probably know from reading it, because obviously all of you read it because you're all really experienced now and ready to go. This is the penultimate Journal Club of the year, by the way. Johan still has to go unless he's planning on skipping it for the 4th time, which has happened now. Haley?
I actually read this paper to the kindergartners that we visited today. They thought it was great.
I got a blast, but I'm reading the Iliad actually.
Similar read.
Yeah.
It's a similar read.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Have fun in Journal Club, guys.
Artificial insemination going on in Homer.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Peace.
Juliana. Yeah. Who invited her? Who was it? Was it you?
It definitely wasn't me. I was not associated at all, I promise. It was
all Haley.
Before she got on, I had this whole plan of doing my radio voice for inseminating cows, for cows everywhere. But okay, Caitlin. Oh, I got to just say, I've never read a paper with this many abbreviations. So I was constantly flipping back and forth trying to figure out what the abbreviations were. So this should be interesting. And you guys are like the last 4 papers. I haven't understood them at all. I don't know if you're doing that on purpose just to show how stupid I am, but I don't understand them. All right, go ahead, Caitlin.
Can you see my screen?
No.
That's an issue.
Usually people use 2 devices. They put their presentation on one and they do they have their own camera on the other one. Oh, there it is. Okay, get rid of me. Or you start talking.
Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see that, but I'm on it for some reason. Get rid of me. Thank you.
Oh, wait. But I want to see it.
Well, no. Well, you want to see my facial expressions as I'm in disgust about talking about cow sweat?
Yeah.
Oh. No, because then in the recording, it only shows me and my facial expressions rather than you. You should sign on using your phone or something.
Okay.
It is sunny out right now.
There we go.
You'll have to turn off the phone on one of them.
Okay. Can I start?
Yes.
Okay. So my project is on the comparison of 2 protocols to increase circulating progesterone concentration before timed artificial insemination in lactating dairy cows with or without elevated body temperature. So basically, this study was designed to find which protocol before artificial insemination worked better on getting cows pregnant. Does Amanda want to do the first figure?
Hold on, really?
Really what?
That it was about getting them pregnant?
Yeah.
I thought it was about milk output.
I didn't think so.
I mean, the abstract was... I couldn't crack the abstract. It was the densest, longest abstract I've ever seen.
It was like which method was the most efficient or better timing, and
To
that's what I
increase
picked up from it.
circulating progesterone concentration. They really don't say why, do they? Okay, go ahead. Who's doing it? Amanda?
Yes.
Okay, so I thought that this was showing the 2 treatments the cows were randomly assigned to, which I think they're trying to increase P4 during a certain time in development. And then I wasn't exactly sure all the stuff that was going on, but I saw that CIDR is a controlled internal drug releasing stimulant. And then I guess the GnRH was the other treatment.
Yeah, so the CIDR was a controlled internal drug releasing inserts, so it'd be inserted into the cow, when the GnRH was a hormone.
Oh, wait, how do I say this without... I was about to say, so I've used these inserts before, but not on myself, so don't, yeah. We use them in mice. They actually do contain some drug. Question is, what's the drug? It's estradiol, right? No.
Yes.
Wait,
No.
I don't know. Or wait. No. So if I'm just looking at the abstract just to clarify. So one group, it says, there was the gonadotropin releasing hormone was in the CIDR with estradiol and PGF2 alpha, which is a growth factor. And the second one did not have the gonadotropin releasing factor. Is that right? That sound right?
I think so.
Okay, so then so that's the control, as far as I could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
Amanda, is that it for figure 1?
Wait. No, you gotta walk us through a little more detailed than that.
So I think they inserted the hormone into the cows 11 days prior to the thing, the D-11 or D-11.
Right. Before what thing, though? What's the thing that's happening? What's the thing happening on day 0? You said 11 days before the thing, but what's the thing? You chose this paper, so I'm making you uncomfortable.
Yeah. The TIA.
Which
I don't know
is?
what that stands for, though.
Artificial insemination.
Oh.
And how is that done?
When they insert the sperm.
How? What do they use? How does that happen?
A male cow?
Nope. No, because it's artificial insemination. It's not.
Oh.
Yeah, and male cow is either called a steer or a bull. If it's castrated, it's a steer. If it's not castrated, it's a bull, and that's natural, but that almost doesn't happen anymore. The artificial insemination needs to be really, really controlled. So, things to think about, people. How does artificial insemination happen? Okay, keep going. Oh, wait, Haley.
Hear me out. Couldn't you just use like a turkey baster?
I knew when I said don't, I that was what I knew you were gonna say. Yes, you could. But it's usually not that simple. They usually have a special tool for it. But yes.
Right.
You could use a turkey baster, yes. Okay. Keep going. Sorry. Kayla.
So I think they just tracked a lot of different things, like the hormones and everything that they started on day 0 for the insemination.
Stupid question. What is US? Oh, ultrasonography of the ovaries. Never mind. Sorry. Next.
Does anyone want to do table 1?
I'll do it. Effects of different cow variables on the rate of pregnancy. So that's pregnancies per artificial insemination. Using the I found this interesting. Using a pregnancy diagnosis. So cows use the same hormone that we do when they get pregnant. It's chorionic gonadotropin. Okay, CG or HCG if it's human. And so what they looked at were, and this is what I start to get lost with the temperature thing. The temperature thing seems to be something important, and I can't figure out how they ended up with different temperatures. But some of the cows had a temperature of less than 39.1, which is average for cows, and some had greater than 39.1, which is again average for cows. Somebody just sent me a message.
Does progesterone affect temperature? Like the increase of it inhibit something like that? Like the regulation of...
I think that's the effect of it, but how did they get there in the first place is kind of my question as I was reading it.
But like, wouldn't they just increase or decrease the progesterone to get the different temperatures?
Does one lead to the other? I didn't pick up. That's possible. I just didn't see that. Are they saying that?
I just looked up. If like progesterone and temperature regulation.
Yeah.
It says progesterone inhibits warm sensitive neuron activity, thus inhibiting heat loss mechanisms and increasing body temperature.
Right. So, right. In human Catholics, for example, try to use natural rhythm methods of birth control. You've all heard of these? The freshmen are like, what are you talking about? So if you measure your temperature, if you're a female and you measure your temperature every morning at exactly the same time, on the day of ovulation, because of the progesterone spikes, and now I'm putting 2 and 2 together here, because of the progesterone spike, you will actually see a jump of a degree or 2 in your body temperature. It's also because it's an inflammatory reflex. When a follicle explodes out of your ovary, it leaves a little wound, and that wound has to be closed up through inflammatory innate immune system processes. So you get a spike in temperature. So I guess, Alex, you're saying that they thought that GnRH is actually doing that?
I think that's what I'm assuming. Okay. That's what I come to thought.
Okay. Parity order, I believe, is how many births, twins or not. So primi versus multiparous. How much is their milk yield? Is it less than or greater than 30 mils or liters or something like that? The corpus luteum, the CL, you'll keep seeing CL mentioned. So when the follicle bursts out of the ovary, in some of the experiments, you can actually put a microphone next to like a mouse ovary, and when ovulation happens, you can actually hear a pop. It'll actually in the microphone. So that causes a wound that needs to be closed by the immune system. When it's closed, it becomes a new organ called the corpus luteum, which is responsible for continuing to produce more progesterone and more estrogen over the end of your cycle. And I think this is a good opportunity for me to switch like this and show you what I mean. So here, can you guys see my screen? If you pin me, you'll see it a little better. Kaylin, you don't mind that I'm doing this to you?
No.
Okay. This is your uterus. So you have the oviduct or fallopian tube here. Hold on, I don't know if showing? Is it showing my mouse? It is. And then here, the follicle explodes and then creates this big yellow thing, which is like a new organ. It's called a corpus luteum. And what that's doing is, hold on, this. So if you look at this, somewhat confusing. I like this diagram a lot, but you have to stare at it for a while. You're getting the different cycles. So on the x-axis, you have 0 through about 0 to 2 days after the start of menstruation. And you'll see that around ovulation, day 14, you get this spike of estrogen, and that leads to an increase in progesterone over that time where you would get implantation.
So funny. Like hysterical laughing.
Okay.
Because it's one of them.
We're hearing a lot of background noise from somebody.
Come home and he came home and she's
Okay.
crying.
I don't know who that is, but
It may be me. I think.
oh, it might be you. All right. So what are we seeing in the rest of that that table? On the right, so it's giving you the protocol averages and the N, the number of cows. This was an enormous study done in 2014, so there were thousands of cows involved. And then the p-value is whether or not there is some sort of relationship or significant difference. So you see, you're looking for 0.05 or less, right? So things that matter would be cow temperature seems to be affected, parity order, corpus luteal presence on day -11, which makes sense because it's already producing progesterone. Well, that's pretty much it. So those are the p-values. I don't really like how they did this table, but I think, did I get it all? Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. I'm going to go back to my normal. All right. On to you.
I would just think that in this table, the most important thing would be the temperature, because that's one of the main factors from this paper.
Okay. Colin just raised his hand.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
Would you like to do the next figure?
Well, I
Make 'em
did
pay.
not. Sorry. No, I mean, I was having trouble kind of getting this one. A lot of the abbreviations were throwing me off.
Well, Colin, it's kind of the same as mine, but only
Yeah.
focusing on a specific thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get the p-value and how the temperature is changing it a lot again, but that's really all I could understand.
I think that's correct, isn't it, Kaylin?
Yeah, there's nothing. There was a lot of these like charts that were pretty much all the same.
Yeah. Good job, Colin. You got it.
Let's go, Colin.
Good job, Colin.
Does anyone
Three's
want to do table 4?
So you're skipping 3, right? Because that's the same thing.
It's pretty
again.
much the same.
Yeah,
as,
yeah,
I think you
before we
covered
wait.
it all.
Yeah.
I'll call on someone if no one wants to volunteer. Brianna.
Yeah. Brianna.
I'm not really sure.
You could take a guess.
Honestly, I was having trouble understanding this one.
But if you read the, oh, Johan, you want to step in? Stay with it?
What does GnRH mean again?
Gonadotropic releasing hormone,
All right.
or gonadotropin. Yeah.
So I'm assuming that what this table's measuring is they're comparing ovulation they're comparing ovulation and no ovulation, and while looking at the whatever you said, I forget, gonadotrophic releasing hormone. I'm not too sure. I'm not even sure what the measurements are, like what the night is that, like temperature still? Or
Yes. No.
okay.
No. What it says over on the left it is, but who was that? Mary.
I'm just going off what Johan said. I was just gonna say, is it just showing like on the left whether or not there's ovulation, based on the temperature, and then the p-value is saying whether or not it's significant?
Yeah, but between I'm stuck on this myself. Like between what? What's the p-value referring to? Because it says up above, comparing treatment protocols, where the GnRH protocol is divided by whether cows ovulated at the start. I have no idea what that means. I think they created some sort of one of like their own unit or factor. Anybody? I don't know.
Does the increase or decrease of progesterone affect ovulation time?
It should.
Okay, so then if the GnRH releases progesterone, then wouldn't that also affect the ovulation time? The time in which ovulation occurs? Like compared, like the presence of GnRH compared to the lack of.
What's that have to do with cow temperature?
Well, we also said the progesterone also increases the temperature.
But why not just do a simple blood? They have all these serum tests that they're doing. Why not just check for progesterone? It's pretty easy. Caitlin, why did they do this study?
Honestly, I don't know.
Okay, let me rephrase. Why not just give everybody a popper, which is the progesterone only version of a pill? Why not just give every cow the pill to get them where you want them to be?
I think they just wanted to see if the CIDR or the GnRH worked better, which in the end, to skip ahead, they worked the exact same.
Yeah, but why not just give them progesterone? I think I know. I'm asking because I think I know the answer, and I'm not happy about it. But keep going. Oh, well, table 5 actually they do use progesterone, right?
Okay, I'll go to figure 4. Does anyone want to present this?
So what a weird way to present the data.
Yeah, that's why I was very confused by this one.
Well, I mean, so if you look at figures 2 and 3, all it's doing is in the do you have 2 and 3 by any chance? I can show it. I have it here. So, if you pin me, you'll see it again. In figures 2 and 3, they are taking the thousands of cows, and they are looking at the number of pregnancies per artificial insemination on the 32nd day, the 60th day, and then the number of pregnancy losses. Now, I think that's the important thing here is between days 32 to 60, there are far more miscarriages happening. You kind of see that here. Oops. Kind of see that here. There are far more miscarriages happening in the gonadotropin group. That seems, I think they said it seems to be correlated with the increase in body temperature, right? Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay. Then they did a regression which makes sense. I mean, they just want to know if it's correlated or not. And it is to temperature. Now we go to your actual, I'm going to stop and you go back to your figure. So going back to figure 4, though, this is looking at follicle size versus all 3 of those conditions. So the pregnancies per artificial insemination at 32 days, 60 days, or loss, miscarriage. They're just correlations. Okay. Remember, correlation is not causation, but it is an informative thing. So they're trying to insinuate that there might be a relationship, at least a relationship between, say, the temperature and the miscarriages thing. And also between the size. So if I'm not mistaken, the larger, correct me here, Kaylin, the larger the follicle is, the more likely it is to be non-viable.
I think so.
Here's why I'm saying that. My sister, I don't think she'll mind me saying this. You know, my brother wants to have a baby. And so my sister is donating an egg. So she did a round, I want to say 2 months ago, that failed. And she went through the whole protocol with all the hormones and stuff to ripen her eggs, if you will. And then they do this ultrasound, just like they did on the cows. This somnography that they were somnography means sleep. Hold on. What was it called? It is ultrasonography, not somnography. Ultrasonography. They did that with her, and you can actually see in the ovary these large bubble-looking things that are the follicles. And right away, the doctor was like, "Oh yeah, those aren't viable. They're too big." So it was a waste. She went through a $20,000 procedure for nothing. Now she didn't have to pay for it, but luckily my brother-in-law is famous. So, okay. Next.
Pretty good. So, for the conclusions, basically the 2 methods that they use to see what would work better on artificially inseminating cows, the CIDR and the GnRH, basically had no difference, except when the body temperature was elevated, it negatively impacted both groups. So when their temperature was higher, there was a lot more miscarriages and follicles, and everything just didn't really work.
Which brings me back to my question: why? Why did they do this study?
I don't know.
Anybody want to take a guess? I welcome you to be as critical and cynical, that's the proper word, cynical as possible. If you don't know what cynical means, Google it. But why are they trying to do this experiment? Isn't that something that you would expect to see in an abstract?
Yes.
So it's a little underwhelming that they did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Couldn't it be just like for dairy farms, just to try to get the females getting more, like, I don't know the words, but like to have more babies, that they just like quickly artificial inseminate them?
I don't think having babies was the point. I think that was very much not the point. What kind of cows are they?
Dairy cow. Oh wait, it was
Holstein, but yeah, you're right. They're dairy cows. So you're not just trying to have babies. You're specifically trying to make them lactate.
Yeah.
So all of you, go get a bottle of milk in your fridge right now and look at the label. Nobody's moving. I welcome you all to look at the label of your milk or dairy product, and there will be a claim on there. What's the claim that they try to make on the label?
Not no artificial growth hormones.
Correct. I have a feeling that they were trying to get the effects of the growth hormone without using growth hormone. Crazy?
No.
Is that possible? So instead of pumping them full of drugs and hormones to get the milk, good job, Tyler. They were like, well, let's try it the other way around. We'll induce pregnancy-like phenotypes. Like, they didn't really want them. I don't know if this is true. Okay, this is just how I'm kind of reading it. They didn't really want them to get pregnant. They wanted them to essentially have a pseudo pregnancy that allowed them to lactate. This works in humans as well. David, red card.
Wait, so is it technically just to increase milk production then, since like when they do have like a baby cow, they would naturally just produce more milk?
I think so, right? I mean, that's how it was naturally done. As long as we've domesticated cows, we have gotten them pregnant, they've had the baby, and we've been able to milk them for as long as that baby was still suckling. And we might be able to continue doing that, but after they're weaned, they do, I believe they do tend to like decrease their output significantly. So you would have to pseudo impregnate them again, essentially physiologically convince their bodies that they had been pregnant before and are no longer pregnant and therefore should be lactating. We can do this in humans as well. This is why I make that joke about guys. You know, if I give the guys in this chat a shot of prolactin and a shot of oxytocin, and maybe a little progesterone, I could get you guys to lactate too. And if you really love your child.
I think I'm going to pass on that one. Thank you.
Well, you don't have an open mind. You must be milk phobic, lactophobic.
Let's just like drink our own milk.
That's gross, but sure, I guess you could. Well, I mean, like, how is that gross? How is it gross to drink human milk when we go and we drink cow milk, the milk from another species, right?
Well, yeah.
Which again, milk is just simply modified sweat. And it's delicious, and I'm gonna have ice cream later. I'm actually having tea with milk in it right now.
I was gonna say, I think
when you put it that way, I want to strictly drink water.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also gonna have a prime steak after this, so, to treat myself for a win.
Just call it cow sweat instead of milk.
Yeah, I think you'll gross some people out. Don't do that on a date. Be like, can I get you a nice cold glass of cow sweat? Not gonna go over well.
Who orders milk while out to eat?
You know, Tyler's really.
Who offers their partner some milk?
I don't know.
Like, can I get you a glass of milk?
My grandmother would totally do that. She would totally do that. Can I get you, like, yeah, you bring home somebody after, you know, a night at the bar, and they're like, can I get you a nice warm glass of milk? You know, something like that. Help you sleep. Grandmothers do that. I don't know how old your grandmothers are. Mine right now would be 100. But
Alex, are you telling me when you take Caitlin on dates, you don't offer her milk?
I don't think he's ever offered me milk.
I don't think so.
This relationship doesn't count. It's not complete.
Don't you put milk in Happy Meals?
I mean, I also work at IHOP, so like.
I've had chocolate milk. Does that count?
Yeah, we need chocolate milk on a date.
Yes, I think so.
Sure. Anywho, all right. Johan, are you still here?
Yes.
Are you sending me a paper so that you can go next week and be the last person of the year?
Yes.
And you're going to do that really soon so that they have a chance to read it, and you're going to make it something that's actually, you know, like something that we might read?
I'm still working on it. I'm already working on it.
Oh, you're already. I haven't approved it yet. You have to send it to me for approval first.
I did. I sent it to you that day.
Didn't you send me? I thought you
I'm
sent
pretty
me a
sure I did.
review. Didn't I send you back and say that was a review? You can't use it.
It's a review.
Or is that one of the 15 that Caitlin sent me that were reviews?
No, I think it was the genotoxic cancer cell thing. Was that a review?
I don't have any emails from you with papers.
Hold on, let me send it again.
Okay. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoy this rip-roaring storm that nothing happened. We were laughing about this before we left. The faculty were like, "What if nothing happens?" And then nothing happened because we're way past the time. It was supposed to be 3 to 5. Was supposed to be super strong storm, and it was sunny the whole time here. So, anyway, go with God, everyone. Good job, Caitlin. Yay! Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Great.
I'm
Great
gonna go
article
make a
selection.
steak. See you later.
No one have milk
Thank you.
tonight. Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank
Hashtag
you.
house.